Welcome back to Live from Springfield, USA. I'm really excited about today's episode. Before we get started, a couple shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to Armanda Ortega for supplying our drinks from Beyond Bottle Shop. Carrie is interviewing her on our next episode, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they chat about, but she's got all kinds of amazing drinks right on Fountain, downtown Springfield, Ohio. I also want to give a shout-out to Ryan Pruitt Music, my dude in Nashville. We went to school together. He's a great producer. He's got a great YouTube channel and doing some amazing music. So he made this T-shirt, this collaboration beats competition, so I had to pick one up. So thank you, Ryan, for this shirt. I want to welcome our next guest, the one, the only, the Daniel Dye. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Awesome, man. We're just going to wing this, so why not, right?
Yeah.
Got a few notes here, but I'll probably forget to read them. So
all right.
How long have we known each other?
Probably only, probably a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've known of each other for 10, 15 years at least, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah, so I've been a fan of Daniel Dye's music for a long time. Again, we didn't really know each other that well. I would come see you play at different places and just kind of wave from the back. And we had a lot of mutual friends. But I really fell in love with your songwriting every time I would come see you play. And we had the honor of bringing you and your band, Daniel Dye and the Miller Road Band, into this studio. We packed it out with about 60 people. It's been quite a long time ago. A lot of it's still on the hard drives because I'm a slow editor, and I apologize for that. But it was an amazing night. We had your family and friends in here. We had some of my family and friends in here, and you guys performed. Before we get started with this interview, let's check out one of those performances. So we're going to take a look at I'm Gonna Let You Go from Daniel Dye and the Miller Road Band.
You make me sweat, Thomas. All right, you ready? Before, and who would like to buy a CD? All right, guys, ready for this? Yeah.
The ship gets tossed about, and the wind and the waves, and buildings come crashing down when the earth decides to shake. That's how it is with you, that's the way it's always been. So now I'm moving on before disaster strikes again. I'm gonna let you go. Oh, but you know I love you so. But the devil's got a hold of you. I'm afraid he'll get a hold of me too, unless I let you go. Oh, but you know I love you so. I would jump from a speeding train if I know it's gonna derail. And I'd dive from a falling plane if I know it's gonna fail. That's how it is with you, that's the way it's always been. So now I'm moving on before disaster strikes again. I'm gonna let you go. Oh, but you know I love you so. But the devil's got a hold of you. I'm afraid he'll get a hold of me too, unless I let you go. Oh, but you know I love you so. I always thought that you'd take me up, but you only bring me down. You send this world into a spin when it used to simply go round. That's how it is with you, that's the way it's always been. So now I'm moving on before disaster strikes again. I'm gonna let you go. Oh, but you know I love you so. But the devil's got a hold of you. I'm afraid he'll get a hold of me too, unless I let you go. Oh, but you know I love you so. Thank you.
So that was an epic night. Great performance. Like I said, we have a couple more of these on the hard drive, several of these songs. How many songs did we do that night?
10 songs. Yep.
10 songs. So I think I've got 2 of them edited in video, and I want to get more released. It's just a busy thing to do. But tell us about that night. How was that for you?
It was great. You contacted me at a time that I was a little low, maybe in terms of music, not writing as much, and we were trying to think of how we could release our next album. With our band, we do better live. Like our people always say, your live show is so much better than your actual recording. So this was a great opportunity for us, and it was wild. It was a different challenge because we were recording live in front of a live audience. So I kept thinking, is this a concert or recording? I couldn't decide, but in the end, I think it translated well. The people in the room said it was a great time. So, yeah. Although one thing also, we were in Springfield, Ohio, Springfield, USA, and it felt like we were in just like out of time and out of place. Like this was happening in Springfield was so unique. And the feedback I got from everyone that came, they said, I can't believe this is happening in Springfield. I can't believe this studio exists. I had no idea. I passed this building all the time. But it was almost, it was like being in LA or Nashville or New York was a whole different kind of experience. So yeah.
It was a wonderful night. It was challenging from my side because you're a bluegrass band.
Yep.
And when you play out publicly, you have a sound system.
Mm-hmm.
And to try to get the best recordings, we couldn't really have a sound system in the room that well because they would come back into your mics. But to record in the studio, you usually have to have headphones on like we do so you can hear that. Mm-hmm. How close you are to the mic, and you use the mic. And bluegrass musicians especially, and folk musicians will lean in, lean out. You're mixing yourself the whole time. So we didn't have a lot of that feedback for you.
Yeah.
You guys crushed it. Mixing's been a little bit more hard, a little harder than usual because of, sometimes maybe one of your background vocalists would be right on the mic. And so there's a lot of automation in that process. But I think it sounded pretty good. Mm-hmm. And, it was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to releasing more of that. So can you tell our viewers about your musical journey? How did you get started in music? When's the first time you were like really touched by music and knew you wanted to do it more?
The first time, well, my start was, I was the youngest member of the Dye Family Singers, a group in a gospel band. I have there's 6 siblings, five older than me, so that's how it all started. So we've been singing music and playing my whole life. My whole life. But for me, it wasn't until college that I started playing guitar, then banjo, and then writing songs. And I think when I should have been studying, I started writing music. So it was almost as soon as I started playing guitar, within a few weeks or months, is when I started writing. But at first, it was just silly songs, just kind of to entertain friends and stuff. And it probably wasn't until I left, a few years later, I left and lived in Europe, and that's when I started taking songwriting more seriously. I lived in Berlin, Germany, and so I would play over there. And then, it weirdly enough, I started writing kind of Americana folk songs being outside of Europe.
Okay.
When I'm here, I was writing songs that were less Americana or less folky. That was kind of a weird thing I noticed, and maybe it was like a tribute to missing home or something like that.
Yeah, a little nostalgia for your days gone by and missing family and kind of getting back to that Champaign County roots.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
So how did you get to Europe?
My life after college, I would work construction and save money and travel. And so that's what I did. That was kind of my life for a few years. My brother also lived in Berlin and I had a sister in Belgium. So I had a couple of bases. In my 20s, didn't have much money, so I had a couple places to stay. And that's where I met who's now my wife. I met her in Berlin.
Awesome.
And so then I lived there for a while, and then we go back try to get back every year. So
She's just on the other side of the glass there.
That's right.
Appreciate you guys. We're running a little behind today, so I appreciate you guys being graceful with us. I know you have childcare, so thank you for that. Let's talk about songwriting. Okay. You have a strong interest in literature. It's part of your livelihood. Does that inform your songwriting, or can you tell me about your songwriting process and who are some of your heroes?
Hero. I grew up on country music and hymns. That's how I grew up. So I love story songs. So growing up, I grew up in the 90s on 90s country. So about anything from that era I quite like. It's not very popular to say it, but I just love
I love it too. I did too. I was actually in a country music band in the 90s.
Oh, yeah?
And we played up in Champaign County quite a bit.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I started playing in the bars when I was 14 or 15.
Man.
And so that's what we were covering, is all that stuff from the 90s. But the stories is what captivated me as well.
Yeah. I wasn't playing any bars in the 90s.
I know, it was dumb.
I was in my I don't know what would have happened if I would have just set up for the bars, we were playing church music. But anyway, yeah, so those guys, but I think this is not a very popular choice, but I discovered John Denver in high school, and I love John Denver. He's a little different than the other country music I grew up on, and it was kind of lame, but I was considered to be kind of goofy in my world. But I love John Denver, and then from then, I guess after that, as a songwriter, John Prine always comes to mind.
Nice.
Bob Dylan, those guys pop in my head as well. But I like all genres. There's good music in all genres, I think. One of the things we do in my family for fun is I'll put in some kind of folk music or traditional music, and I'll have everyone guess, where is this from? And whether it's Georgia or whether it's Korea, it's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun thing, and sometimes
It's interesting to see how folk music has influenced so many genres of music. If you start looking at the beginning of how country and blues started to split off, and then jazz. But if you go back and listen to some of these artists, you can hear when these branches started to come out from folk.
Yep.
And a lot of this is based in folk. I heard that, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that rap wouldn't be what it is today without Bob Dylan. And Bob Dylan, who was, you start saying who were his influences, and you go back and you keep going back, and it always goes back to the front porch somewhere in some country where people are using music to connect with family, to worship, to entertain each other. And your music has this really cool, to me, it has a really cool way of taking me to my roots. Maybe subliminally there's some 90s Garth Brooks in your folk music. I don't hear it, but maybe it's just because we're roughly the same age and we grew up in the same genre. But it also takes me back to the Eagles. It takes me back to a lot of these roots that maybe you weren't even listening to at the time, but you can see how all these things are connected.
I'm thinking now you got me thinking about the Eagles, but it come to other influences. I got this whole 70s band kick as well, like Fleetwood Mac comes to mind. And you were talking about how genres influence each other, but I was thinking about Americans and British people coming together to make music. It wasn't until they collaborated that it really took off, that band,
Right.
Anyway, it's just a side.
Yeah, no, it's good. So, again, let's talk about your writing process, because I think we went off on a tangent. I'm pretty ADHD, so I just follow me where I go, I guess. Or if you want to say, hey, let's get back on track, that'd be fine too, because I get it all day long from work and home. So,
Fair enough.
So let's talk about songwriting. When you started writing, what's your process? What inspired you to write a song?
I wish I could say one thing. Sometimes not sleeping at night, can't sleep. Grabbing a guitar and writing. I was just talking to my nephew before I came here. My nephew's starting to write songs. He's in college right now, and then all of a sudden they're coming. And we were just talking about this process. So for me, in terms of the time, it could be the middle of the day, in the middle of the night, anytime. I think that songs often come, though, from conversations and stories. And sometimes I'll read something or even a story in the newspaper that's very, very sad or very inspiring, and then a song will come from that. or a conversation, maybe even today's conversation, or hearing about someone going through a hard time. I would say my songs are not my stories. They're just stories that I've heard along the way. And I think that, it's almost like, and I think if you think about someone who writes a book, you just end up having, you can empathize with different types of people, different stories. So yeah, I love story songs and
I think what's
double meanings as well.
Yeah, exactly. What I was going to say, when I listen to your songs, there's a lot of double meanings. Mm-hmm. And I got to work with some rappers last year, and one gentleman I had worked with had spent 12 years in prison, and he wrote every day. Mm-hmm. And so by the time he got out of prison, he had a stack of lyrics. But he said what he tried to do a couple years into that was every bar, they call it a bar, in that genre, every line or every, phrase of music has a triple meaning to him. So it's really interesting. So when he'd be talking about the yard, he was talking about the yard he grew up in, mm-hmm. the yard he was in prison, as well as the city that he was from, or like if he was referencing like a sport he played. So mm-hmm. It was fascinating to watch him go through that. But a lot of your music has where I listen to it, and this is one of my favorite things about your music, is when I listen to it, I don't know if you're talking about God sometimes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're talking about your family. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you're talking about a national issue mm-hmm. or something that happened to you. And that's true mastery in writing, because the melodies are really nice, and the listener can take it the way they want to receive it.
Yeah. I think that I like music that, all right, so this is like a little thing for songwriting. If someone is just writing about me all the time, I lose interest, just mm-hmm. in my personality. But I like music that I think, is this a song that I could have listened to 50 years ago, or I would like to listen to 50 years from now? That's the kind of song that I like. And you read a little bit about history. What do they say, that history doesn't exactly repeat itself, but it rhymes? Some of the stuff that we're going through now, you read and you're like, well, we went through that 50 years ago, or that culture went through that 100 years ago. It just happens over and over again, the same thing. So I kind of like that kind of music, the universal stories.
And that's maybe why the best hymns that we grew up mm-hmm. on, I think you and I both grew up on traditional hymns. You were probably doing them more in a folk version, mm-hmm. or bluegrass, maybe vocal arrangements. We were growing up in the single organ and piano church mm-hmm. where you get the hymnal out and sing those. But the hymns, as I worked in the church world for about 10 years as a mm-hmm. musician, and the ones that keep coming back up, the ones that people love, I think are hitting those things that rhyme a lot in what's going on in people's lives. Yeah. So, for example, when you sing Amazing Grace or whatever, mm-hmm. and this gentleman was writing about the forgiveness that he received after he left the slave mm-hmm. trade, and
yep.
Or you hear about the gentleman that lost his family at sea, and he mm-hmm. writes I forget the name of the song, but really famous hymn. And no matter what you're going through in life, you need that grace, and you need mm-hmm. that kind of supernatural understanding when you're going through hard times, or that peace that surpasses understanding. And so that's why maybe they're rhyming with cyclical things that are happening in society. It seems like you'd think we'd be farther along in some of these conversations in 2025, and seems like they keep coming back up.
Yeah, and they always will.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting. You think something that's new, you think, I've discovered this, and you do a little bit of reading, you realize that, they've been talking about this for 100 years or 1,000 years.
The Bible has a scripture that says there's nothing new under the sun.
Yeah.
And
King Solomon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think about that sometimes when I think
mm-hmm.
I come up with the original idea. I was showing you some jazz stuff. I'm trying to get into writing different kinds of music mm-hmm. and just trying different counter melodies and stuff. And I'm thinking like, I'm like coming up with something original, and then you go back to like the 30s and they were doing it, and you're like, I stink. Yeah. But it's not a competition, It's just about discovery and just keeping that process going. So last night you told me you wrote a song.
Yes.
Are you prepared to share that one today, or you want to share a different song?
That one is still so raw that I will flub up the lyrics. But no, I will. I'll share a different song.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you do that, so I think it's interesting because I asked you to come. I asked you to come on this podcast last minute because that's how I roll. But when you said yes, I was super excited. But I think that inspired you, kind of like you know, we all go through ups and downs, and you know, you were sharing with me like last time I saw you, you know, we're musicians, we're songwriters, we're people, we're fathers, we're workers, and I think we're more in tune with the things that are happening in the world. So sometimes we feel them harder, maybe. But it was encouraging to me to say that just coming on this podcast, inspired you to write another song, and for me it was like sometimes just grabbing a different guitar and tuning it differently. Would inspire me to write 3 songs, and then I'd get stuck again, and then I'd go back to the piano. And does that ever help you to write on different instruments?
Yeah, I usually write on the guitar, but then the banjo. Yeah, like I wrote a song last night on the banjo, and I never would have had the riff on the guitar. So yeah, you switch it up. In the fall, I started revisiting the mandolin. I used to play when I was younger, and again came up with a tune that I never would have had on the guitar or the banjo. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
I wrote a song on the upright bass last year, and it was kind of fun to, and again, that was unlike any song that I've written.
I started studying Pino Palladino. I don't know if you know who that is, but he plays with John Mayer in the John Mayer Trio.
Okay,
he played with some rappers in the 2000s, and just one of those guys that just shows up on the best recordings. And I started watching documentaries on him, and I picked up the bass, and I was like, I gotta get close, and I never got close. But it did inspire me to write differently, though, write from a bass line rather than like a melody hook, which is kind of, sometimes they can be counter melodies, but it's really a percussive instrument, you know?
Yeah. And
it's a driving instrument. So with that being said, tell us about the song you're going to share with us here in a minute.
Yeah, this song is a song I wrote when talking about a dark time of not writing. It was in the middle of the lockdowns. It's probably 21, and I went out into public to go to a concert the first time in months, if not maybe over a year. It was Dwight Yoakum. I went out to see a Dwight Yoakum concert over in Troy, Ohio, and I hadn't been in a big crowd like that in months, and hadn't been writing either. I was so depressed. I realized during that time that songs come out of conversations for me. I'm a natural introvert, but they come out of conversations and being with people, and then also the music you do. I feel like I'm in concert you're in a concert. Well, I'm in concert with the audience. You're doing this because you're putting something to words that you hope will connect with somebody. But then that feedback is, you realize you're not crazy if they feel the same thing.
Right.
So since I didn't have that, I wasn't writing. So anyway, I went to this Dwight Yoakum concert, and one thing with Dwight Yoakum is I love
Dwight, by the way.
Yeah, he's
from Columbus.
Yeah, that's right. He's an Ohio guy, but he just song after, it's all about the songwriting, not really about the interaction, but just the songwriting. And it was such a beautiful night, and I went home and wrote this song. This is called Dwight Yoakum Sings. So this is the song I like to work on.
Awesome. We're going to switch over mics and get you set up here.
Up there on the mountain, another dogwood dies. Down in the valley, the coyote cries. And out here on the highway, I hear that lonesome sound. I'm driving from that city where they beat me down, down, down. And all the people walk and they talk about things that make you twist, things that make you shout. There's a forest floor and a river's edge and a starry night deep inside my head. Some dark arena, Dwight Yoakum sings about forgotten spaces forgotten everything, and somewhere in his heartache there is a silver line. What takes away your trust will give you one more rhyme. And all the people walk and they talk about things that make you twist, things that make you shout. But there's a forest floor and a river's edge and the smell of rain deep inside my head. And here in the West, we watch freedom die. But out there in the East, I hear a freedom cry. And way up in the North, the ice it melts away. But down in the South, it's growing day by day by day. And all the people walk and they talk about things that make you twist, things that make you shout. But there's a forest floor and a river's edge and a blue jay call deep inside my head. There's a forest floor and a river's edge and a starry night deep inside my head. There's a forest floor and a river's edge and the smell of rain deep inside my head.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Just pull up that mic there for just a second. I'm going to keep you playing music because I love your music. I wanted to talk just a little bit about that song.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 19 years old, I went to Hocking College.
Oh, yeah.
And I was invited to play with the professors there on Wednesday nights. They had a bluegrass and folk thing. And that style of music is what they played every Wednesday night. And they were really good musicians, really good vocalists. And I learned a lot about the form of that music. Because, again, I grew up on 90s country, so I didn't, I wasn't hearing a lot of that. And I loved every minute of it. But as you were singing that song, I was thinking about a couple things. One is that time there. And then two, with everything crazy going on in the world right now, I don't know if, from an American's perspective, I don't know if we've ever been as divided as we have been on, you're either right or you're left, and everything is a big deal. But the one thing that brings me sanity right now is when I go hit the Mad River. And I have a little guide boat, and I take my friends out, and we catch brown trout, usually do about a 5 to 6 hour float. And I know part of the tributaries that feed the Mad River run behind your property.
Yeah.
And how often do you get back there, and what does it do to your soul?
It's Kings Creek. I get back there a lot. All summer long, I would either be in a kayak or a tube floating down. I was actually just there a couple weeks ago doing an ice plunge in Kings Creek. So I try to get that year round. So, but yeah, it's like a magical world with the ducks and the herons and the muskrats, and it's wild world down there.
I love it. I see beaver, muskrats, bald eagles, coyotes, deer. Sometimes we even see fish. But I love it, man, and it keeps me sane. And that song really, I just kind of closed my eyes when I was listening, and it just kind of took me to a different place. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to keep you playing music, man, because this is amazing. Why don't you share another one with us? You got your guitar back there.
Let's switch it up real quick.
Yeah. Love the Martin.
Thank you. Yeah, this is this next song is called Angeline. One of those songs with double meanings, I suppose, like you were saying earlier.
Cool.
So you can take it whatever direction suits you.
All right. Okay, so Angeline, Daniel Dye.
Yep.
Angeline, Daniel Dye.
All right. There was a light in the darkness, wouldn't let me pass by. It pulled me from the shadows and it lifted me high. I think you came to save me, Angeline. There was a fire in your soul like I had never seen. Came to save me, Angeline, to go into this world. But it's a long road to freedom, full of death and decay, and love is hard to find. Oh, but you showed me the way. I think you came to save me, Angeline. There was a fire in your soul like I had never seen. Came to save me, Angeline, to go into this world. Sometimes the lights that are brightest, well, they don't last too long, but you shone like the sun. Then one day you were gone, but I think you came to save me, Angeline. There was a fire in your soul like I had never seen. Came to save me, Angeline, to go into this world. I think you came to save me, Angeline. There was a fire in your soul like I had never seen. Came to save me, Angeline, to go into this world.
Yeah, loving it. Amazing job. I'm not going to try to guess the meaning of that one. We'll leave that up to our viewers, unless you kind of want to give them a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it's a partial love song, partial Jesus song.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
very nice. Loving it. I'm so excited about you playing music for us today, and I know you're performing tonight, and you probably need to get out of the studio pretty soon here, but I could have you play through all your songs. So would you come back and visit us if I invited you? And that'd be amazing. Also, Jesse Level.
Yeah.
That song reminded me a little bit of his timbre voice and his writing. And so I'm hoping that he'll come and join us. So Jesse, if you're out there, this is a call out. We want you on the show to share your music, share your journey. But would you share one more with us live, and then we'll take it out on?
Yeah, I've got a love song. I think the hardest song to write as a songwriter is a love song. They always end up being a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
Let me just see if I can get this on through the headphones. Give me
we can cut away if we have to.
But the love song.
That probably needs to be over your arm.
Over my arm.
Yeah.
Like
the old headphones. There you got it.
Go. So the love song, this, like I said, love songs often end up being a bit cheesy, but this one, maybe it's just about the ups and downs. This one actually, we did a version of it we put out there on YouTube, and my parents, who had been married 50 some years at the time, they came out. We were doing we were filming out of my family farm, and they came out wondering what in the world we're doing, playing in the middle of a Sunday afternoon to nobody. Like, we're doing a music video, Mom and Dad. And then I said, but you got to be in it. Now that you're here, you have to be in this. So this is about love, prevailing love. And then they're in the music video, just a crowd of two watching us play in the middle of this big outside arena, so to speak. And now more people talk about them than the song itself. But it's kind of, I was thinking about my parents.
How long have they been together?
That's a good question. I think think they're crowding 60 years now.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty great. At the time, I think it was 50, but I think it might be 60 plus. My siblings, my sisters would be ashamed that I don't know this.
That's all right.
Oh, I'm gonna need a witness. There's so many things to share, and memories are more vivid when there's someone around. Someone who's almost always there. And I'm gonna need a friendship, someone who will listen in. So tell me your stories and I'll tell you mine. Time after time after time after time. I'm gonna need forgiveness for all the mistakes I make, for trouble and heartache and struggle and pain. Forgive me for all that I take. And I'm gonna need some truth in a world that just don't seem right. So show me what's good and show me what's not. And when it's all stripped away, then what have we got? So I'm gonna need you, honey, when the nights they get cold and long. And if we take to the highway or take to the sea, I'll be there for you and you'll be there for me. And I'll be there for you and you'll be there for me.
So good. Wow. I'm going to share that with my wife. Might have to rip that off the hard drive and take it home. She's a huge Avett Brothers fan.
Oh, yeah.
And that has a lot of the Avett Brothers undertones in it. Were you excited when you saw them kind of break out?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's funny to watch them live. It's like watching a rock band play bluegrass music. It was, what a show they put on. But yeah.
Definitely. Two more things. I wanted to ask you about your festival that you do. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us, our viewers about that? You can just look in that camera or that one and just tell them about what's coming up. Yeah,
Madden Road Music Fest. We've been doing it. I have a big family, and we have a family farm up in Champaign County, which is just north of here. And every year, every August, second Saturday of August, we put on the Madden Road Music Festival, which is, I grew up on Madden Road. And so I bring a bunch of bands I play with along the way, a lot of Columbus and Dayton bands. Those two communities they don't know each other, but I play in both. And then sometimes the occasional outside band from last year we had a band from Chile that was there, for example. So you never know where they're coming from. But we have about 15 to 18 acts one day, 3 stages, and we do it every second Saturday of August. Lots of good food. Let's see, food. Walking trails. We have a campfire. We have and we have the tree planting. We have all those traditions. We have a hammock grove.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm a big nature guy. So there's a lot of, you're in the woods. It's a music festival in the woods, basically.
How can people find out more information about that?
MaddenRoadMusic.com.
Okay, we'll put a link on this podcast on the YouTube video and on the Facebook post, and as well as on the audio version of this podcast. We'll put a link in there for it so people can find out. So you're playing tonight.
Yep.
After we get done filming, we'll do a little shout out for you tonight on our channel,
Well,
and
you.
do a little reel for you. But thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
for giving us your time. Thank your wife for giving her time. I know she's behind the glass over there working on work, and we were running a little late, so we better move you down the road. But thank you so much, man. And I look forward to editing more on that concert that we did here. But I also look forward to just seeing where music takes you. And I love the conversations we have off the mic as well.
All right. Thanks, Chad. Thank
Awesome.
you. And this is an awesome project. And
Cool.
Thanks you did your job, because you got, like, if I'm writing a song, that's part of it, right? You're getting people to get creative.
Right.
Just the conversation.
We're just trying to show good. Yeah. We're trying to get people creative. I'm going to focus more on some music and some friends like yourself. And, we're going to have a lot of musical guests on, all different genres. So thank you. But thank you for watching Springfield, USA. Our next episode, we're going to have Carrie interviewing Amanda Ortega from Beyond Bottle Shop. Thank you again, Amanda, for the drinks today. And we'll see you on the next episode.